Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy Thursday. My name is Dolores Morales, and we're excited today to have you join us in our general membership meeting. Today, we're going to talk about our accomplishments, review the SEMA budget, share some of our 2023 priorities, and update you on ways that you can get involved with SEMA today. We hope that you have a little bit of fun, and we look forward to hearing your comments. Next slide. So my name is Dolores Morales. I'm proud to serve as your SEMA president. I work as a program manager 3 in the probation department. Carla?
Hi, I'm Carla Collins. I'm your senior vice president. I'm very proud to be in the county exec's office, the Division of Equity and Social Justice, and I'm with the Office of Gender-Based Violence Prevention.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lawrence Michael Ciarias. I am very proud and honored to be your elected vice president. I'm a business systems analyst with TSS, assigned to work at Department of Tax and Collections. Donna.
Hi, thank you. I'm Donna Mensimer. I am the Administrative Services Manager for Roads and Airports, and I am your elected SEMA secretary, and glad to be here. Jim?
Hi, I'm Jim Piazza. I'm your SEMA treasurer. I work for the HHS. I'm an IT manager in the HHS Facilities Department. I'm very excited to be here and have this meeting with everyone. There we go. Jesse, I'm sorry. Jesse's not here.
Is not here today, but he is joining us. He's your member at large. He works in the emergency department at Valley Medical Center. So thank you, Jesse, and on to Mary Beth, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth Rogers. I am a member at large on the SEMA Executive Board, and I'm a management analyst out at the Social Services Agency in DFCS. Nice to see everybody here today.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Robin Rivas Romano. I also work at Social Services. I'm an administrative support officer in Central Services, and I'm also a member at large on the Executive Board. Laura?
Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Laura Romero, and I'm a SEMA board member at large representing SEMA members in Superior Court. I've worked in the Self-Help Center since 2005, and welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Ontiveros. I'm a member at large on the SEMA Executive Board, and I'm employed at the Monterey County Council's office as the Administrative Operations Manager. And thank you all for being here.
And good afternoon, everyone. Zeb Feldman, Senior Business Agent out of the San Jose PE office. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us here for a report on what your union is doing for you. Adam.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. This is Adam Cole, your second SEMA business agent, representing primarily health and hospital, behavioral health, public health, etc. Hand it off to Lawrence.
Thank you, Adam. My name is Lawrence Sue, one of your SEMA 03 business agents representing general government. Jonathan.
Thank you, Lawrence. My name is Jonathan Brown. I'm one of your SEMA business agents representing Monterey County. And unfortunately, Nancy isn't with us today, but she is an important part of our team as our office administrative assistant.
So 2022 gave us so much to focus on. If only we could focus. People are tired and stressed. And as we mark our 3-year coronaversary, we need to know, we need to stand strong together to demand that employees are valued, safe, and secure in the work that we do. And this is true across the nation. What happens when workers refuse to go above and beyond? We see this phenomena called quiet quitting. And how have bosses responded? Not by hiring more employees to complete necessary tasks, but by asking existing workers to shift their roles. I remember when they used to say do more with less, but now it's called quiet hiring. Headlines have also shifted from pandemic deaths, which by the way, are still hundreds each day throughout the US, which is down from 2019 a day just 1 year ago, to headlines about inflation and burnout, both of which have hit new highs. And now terms like quiet quitting and quiet hiring are being normalized. But did this stop SEMA? Absolutely not. We know that even if we could hire more workers, it could be months before we can get a list to interview. And we can't wait for that, because when you do work that is about keeping the safety net up and holding the very most vulnerable from falling through, you show up. At least SEMA does. So we may all be tired and we may have seen some colleagues suffering from burnout, but we don't stop. And in fact, despite the ongoing strain, 2022 was also a year of great resilience and growth. SEMA made history with the expansion of our membership to similar codes and classifications within Monterey County. And we've got folks in Santa Cruz County and at Stanford recognizing the strength of unions in general and SEMA in particular, asking if they too might be part of our union. You'll hear more specifics on accomplishments with our Monterey County and Superior Court councils in just a few moments. But here in Santa Clara County, 2022 also marked a reframing and strengthening of relationships with other county unions. Our SEMA endorsement led to the election of the first ever public service rep from Santa Clara County on the CalPERS board when 521's president, Melissa Willett, won the statewide election. It led to political action with the Deputy Sheriff's Association, county firefighters, and RNPA as we fought to elect labor-friendly candidates and turn historically Republican District 1 progressive with the election of OE3 family, Sylvia Arenas. And it led to more community action than we've seen in the past as we participated in Silicon Valley Pride, the parade for the first time ever. We walked to support suicide prevention, and many of us ran for the VMC Foundation. Some of us walked for that too. And we co-hosted gatherings, including a holiday event at the Luther Burbank District, a Union Family Barbecue in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and we door knocked and phone banked literally thousands and thousands of homes throughout the county to get folks to the polls last year. And what we learned, especially when we're all a bit tired, is that we're so much stronger together. And these connections with our union siblings were not meant to be just for campaigns or for a single event. We learned we're better prepared to negotiate for what SEMA employees deserve when we're working collaboratively with the other county unions. And while we fight for the administration and the board to support workers and to support SEMA, we also made efforts throughout 2022 to take care of ourselves with professional development gatherings that always included resources and tips for well-being. Because I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a year of quiet thriving. 2022 was a year of rebuilding for SEMA, of resilience and growth, and a strengthening of relationships with other counties. So let's take a deep breath and give ourselves a virtual hug to acknowledge all that we've been through and that our union is stronger now because of it. And now I'll turn it over to our president, Dolores Morales, to highlight some of our 2022 accomplishments.
Thank you so much, Carla. We had a great year, and I'm very, very proud of all of our accomplishments. We had many. I want to highlight two. So we incorporated Monterey County. We went through a robust negotiations with our membership, creating a fundamental contract for Monterey County. We heard comments about how important this was, and for the first time ever in their careers, they felt valued and respected. We also, our business representatives in our court unit had the insight to built in strong inflation language. As a result of that, our business representatives and our CAC was able to do a 4% adjustment. Adam.
Thanks, Dolores. Looking at some other accomplishments from 2022. I think you're one page too far there. Could you go back one?
Sorry.
There we go. We're now fully recovered and past the deficit membership that we were in as a result of VISIP. We've added more than 100 new members in this last year, net, just at Santa Clara County and the court, with almost half of those members joining as a result of the Be a Member November event at the end of last year. In addition, incorporating Monterey County has brought more than 300 plus new members to the SEMA family. Finally, we have continued interest from other nearby municipalities that continue to see the strong representational work SEMA provides folks here at Santa Clara County, and see additional interest in self-organization from Santa Cruz, San Mateo, and beyond. We now have a retrospective on the last couple of years of classification studies, and we can say that For those classification studies that we've gotten back and concluded, we're looking at a more than 70% success rate of classification studies that have been submitted under the new contract language. This means folks seeing promotions in their position or salary increases as a result of salary studies. Finally, SEMA's fully settled in to kind of the hybrid model that we've all been dealing with during COVID. And we've had the most professional development events in the last 3 years, this previous year, with 5 events, including some popular ones like an address from Supervisor Ellenberg to SEMA members. Finally, we've also been able to turn out folks for those events that need to be in person this last year, including all those important political events that Carla was just speaking about. For a little more on that, let me hand it over to Lawrence.
Thank you so much, Adam. SEMA was very politically involved in 2022, supporting numerous labor-friendly candidates like Sylvia Rennes and Aisha Wahab, most notably. Sylvia Rennes was a San Jose City Council member who has advocated for working families, and we're so excited for her leadership at the county level on the Board of Supervisors as we look for her as an ally. Aisha Wahab, a former SEMA member and IT manager in TSS, now a state senator in Sacramento representing parts of Santa Clara County and Alameda County. We are so proud of her campaign to win this seat and getting labor-friendly legislation passed. SEMA has the utmost confidence in her abilities to advocate for us at higher levels of government. You can read all about how to get involved in SEMA, like the Political Action Committee, on our SEMA website at sccma.org, which has been revamped to be more accessible so that our members can get the information they need, as well as learn more about the union that serves you. SEMA is also excited to share that we have a new office at 1737 North First Street on the 3rd floor and Suite 370 in San Jose, California. Come visit us anytime during our hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday to Friday, and we'll be having a grand opening event in the near future that we would love to see everyone there. Definitely take these opportunities to look around your new Union Hall. I'm gonna pass it on to Jonathan to talk about the accomplishments in Monterey County.
Thank you, Lawrence. We are very pleased with our accomplishments in Monterey County. The first accomplishment that comes to my mind isn't shown on this slide. It's that we were able to provide representation to the managers of Monterey County. Prior to SEMA, they were experiencing a deterioration of their benefits. And this was even with an employee-led group who had meetings with their HR, the CAO, and even gave comments during the Board of Supervisor meetings. The result of all that effort was that they were told that as an unrepresented unit, they didn't have a seat at the table, and so that their working conditions were going to be determined by HR's recommendations and the board's vote. As you can imagine, that was very frustrating for many of them. So as we were able to unionize and got to the table, we changed that narrative and made sure that their collective voices were heard and recognized. You can see in the first bullet point on the slide that as we rolled out the details of our agreement, that we were able to pass our first MOU with the county, our foundational agreement, with a 95% yes vote. That is an extremely high acknowledgement of the work that we were able to produce, and we're very proud of that. Some notable achievements from the agreement are in the bullet points below. You can see in the second bullet point that we were able to negotiate a 3.5 general wage increase in the first year. That was a full % more than any other bargaining group was able to negotiate. The agreement was made richer with our negotiated premium pays, most notably the brand new premium pay for our members in Monterey, the longevity pay. At the time that our agreement was adopted by the county, the majority of our membership there was able to enjoy this premium pay. So you can see for anyone with 10 years or more in the county, they received an additional 2.5% in wages. For those with 15 years of service, they received an additional 3.5% in wages. And for anyone with 20 years of service, they received an additional 5.5% increase in their wages. Quickly going back up to that base wage bullet point, you'll see that in the second year, this is actually in the start of the fiscal year coming up, that's July 1st, there's an additional 2.5% increase in wages. So that means in the first 7 months of our agreement, there's a potential for an 11% increase in wages. As we rolled out these details to the Monterey membership, one of my favorite comments that I received, which you just heard Dolores kind of mention, was a member of 30 years in Monterey County. emailed me and said this was the first time she had felt respected as an employee. To be able to do that, to be able to be a part of the SEMA team and the negotiations team that provided that feeling to this member is an accomplishment in and of itself. You can see that we were able to receive other wins as well. We were the only group to negotiate an automatic escalation of the county's contribution to their healthcare benefits. If healthcare premiums rise by 4% or more in 2024, we negotiated that the county will contribute an additional 7% than what they already are today. And then the last bullet point on the left, you can see that it was important for us to include holiday pay and compensation for on-call assignments. This is a practice that has been provided to lower classifications in Monterey for years. And because of that, it was important for us to have it in our agreement, because no one should promote to a loss of pay opportunity. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Sandra.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I just want to reiterate one of the biggest accomplishments, especially since if Monterey County managers are in this meeting right now listening, you all know it took us a few years to be able to get united and everyone agree to join the union. And it took us a bit, but we're finally here. And that's one of the biggest accomplishments is that we now have representation, that SEMA is a very professional group and they're here representing us. And by the looks of it, now you can see part of joining this group, you have all these members, Santa Clara County that are also, and the Superior Court that are here, that all together we are united and we are making a difference. And I hope that you all see that and the hard work that the Monterey County employees put into bringing this forward and everyone here today. I also want to acknowledge and appreciate how fortunate we are to have a representative, a business agent with SEMA that lives in our community and is a former manager from Monterey County. I think that is just one of the most awesome things that I could relate to you, because he gets to see every day our community, our needs. He knows Monterey County and he knows managers in Monterey County. So what better person to represent us? So that is one of the highlights I really do want to say I'm thankful for. I also want to say thank you to all of you for joining our efforts to be a part of the union. And I want to report the increase in membership. Since our foundational agreement, all of you have come together and we continue to grow in our numbers. But help us keep that recruitment going. Join us in keeping the new managers, letting them know to join us. Because together we make a much bigger difference and our voices are a lot louder when we have more members joining. I also wanted to relay that we're building relationships with our Board of Supervisors. We've met with each one. I think we only have one more to go. And we continue to be able to voice your concerns. So please relay those concerns to us. We recently also, myself, Annalisa Leal from Natividad, Dolores Morales, our SEMA president, and Jonathan Brown, our business agent, were sworn in by the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council, and we will continue to participate in monthly meetings to stay involved. And with that, I'll pass it on to Laura.
Thank you, Sandra. On to the court. So as mentioned by our president, Dolores, SEMA's contract with the court contains language allowing for wage negotiations during the contract period if cost of living funding is included in the annual court budget. SEMA was able to trigger this language in 2022, resulting in a 4% raise that is in addition to the annual increase set out in our current contract. In addition, SEMA negotiated the expansion of telework and primary remote benefits for 4 additional SEMA classifications, giving more individuals in SEMA positions flexibility with their work environment and enhanced work-life balance. I'm now passing on to our treasurer, Jim, to provide budget and financial information.
Jim, you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Laura. As your SEMA treasurer, I'm your steward for your SEMA funds and financial process, along with your SEMA board. I'm also responsible for the state, federal, and local filings that include political donations, accounting, corporate taxes, and other things. As you can see, we have current assets of over $1 million in the bank. We have a revenue and stream of income from dues and other things of 2.5 million. We have a very responsible and manageable 2023 budget, and we're staying right on that. I'm happy to report to you that we're in very good financial health. We've met all our obligations, local, state, and federal government, and we continue to support all of the accomplishments and future things to meet the membership and the board's goals for all of our members. As part of the process of improvement, we've also started a finance committee, which I will provide more detail later on the slide to show how we're moving forward to protect our SEMA membership funds. Thank you, and Dolores.
Thank you so much, Jim. So our union is only as strong as our membership. And so in order for us to continue to negotiate and fight on your behalf, we need your participation. So our fellow board members will go over some of these committees. Many of them meet once a month. If you have an extra hour of your day to strengthen the union and our ability to negotiate on your behalf, please consider volunteering. Laura?
Thank you. So the Court Advisory Council, CAC for short, consists of 5 court employees and the court's executive board member at large. That would be me. The current members represent 4 different work sites for the court. The role of the body is to meet with court administration on a quarterly basis to address labor issues that are brought to us by SEMA members, and also to negotiate our contract with the court when expiration time approaches. We are here to address your concerns, and we invite you to reach out to us if there are any topics that you wish to discuss with us. We meet on the 3rd Friday of the month from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. I also want to share that CAC has an opening. If you would like to participate in contract negotiations and want to contribute to our labor relations discussions with the administration, we invite you to contact us. I'm now handing over to Sandra.
Hi again. The Monterey County Advisory Council consists of a SEMA agent, myself as the executive member at large, and 4 other county employees, Annalisa Leal, Dina Northcutt, Ademir Hebe, and Virginia Pierce. This council will represent you with SEMA labor management meetings and discussions. Labor management meetings will be scheduled quarterly with our CAO, department executives, and the Board of Supervisors. In addition, we will negotiate our contract when it expires. Please feel free to contact any one of us with your concerns or information you believe we should be aware of. The council will hold monthly meetings on the 4th Tuesday of the month from noon to 1. If you want to get involved and or participate in events or have matters you would like us to address, please feel free to reach out. Thank you. And I'll pass it on to Adam.
Thanks, Sandra. The classification committee doesn't meet year-round. They meet at the beginning of every year to review classification study applications for that year. We're waiting right now at the beginning of May. We'll be sitting down to meet with HR to start reviewing and assigning the applications for 2023 for study this year. For the last 2 years, I can say the classification study committee's done very strong work, given that the significant majority of studies that we've put forward to HR have ended up resulting either in a reclass or a salary increase for folks. We're also recruiting for next year. We were a little bit short this year. About half the folks that had been participating in previous years have since retired. So there's definitely space, and we're looking for more folks. Your relevant experience for this might have been if you've gone through a reclassification process in the past. This is a fun committee, only meets the beginning of the year, and helps vet and put forward strong cases that are going to, result in pay increases or promotions for your fellow SEMA folks. Let me hand it off to Laura.
Thank you, Adam. So Jesse Castaneda and myself are the co-chairs for the Communications Committee. The Communications Committee develops and implements and also recommends ways to improve the various channels used by SEMA to communicate with membership, in addition to social media. If you enjoy working with various types of social media and would like to use your skills to help us develop and maintain our social media presence, we welcome membership participation in this committee. We're excited to announce that SEMA launched a new website on February 16, 2023. It's SEMA.org, or let me clarify, SCSEMA.org. Our new website has enhanced features that will improve our ability to connect with members. Members will need to set a new password to log in, ask to reset your password, and submit your work email to have your new password emailed to you. Now I'm handing off to Jim.
Not on mute this time. That's good. Hello, I'm Jim Piazza. This is a new committee. It's a very kind of exciting and something new that SEMA hasn't done in the past. As we know, the economy has been anything but stable. So we've been looking at ways to protect our SEMA memberships funds. So this committee is looking at ways to invest safely and securely to make sure that we're offsetting inflation or other things that are going on within the economy. It also looks at the audit report and auditing our SEMA books, make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, the board's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And some other things it does is also helps build financial processes, how checks are processed, how other things are signed off. It's a very exciting committee if you're in a financially motivated or way you do things. This would be a great committee to come on to and get involved with. It really is the nuts and bolts of the finances of SEMA. So please reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to include you and send you any information. Laura, now on to Laura Mary Beth.
Hi. Laura Romero and I will speak about the Membership and Liaisons Committee. SEMA membership numbers are doing well, but we could always be better. We're currently at 70% for our overall for our 3 units, which is the county, the courts, and Monterey, with just over 2,000 dues paying members. The Santa Clara County has a 67% membership rate currently. We really want to get this up to 80% as we go into negotiations coming up. So we will be talking about how we can ask you folks to participate in recruiting new members. We had a membership drive in November, which resulted in 64 new members of the 100 plus folks that were recruited in 2022. The Santa Clara County Court Unit is currently at 80% and Monterey County is up at about 69 or 70%. I'd like to pass it on to Laura to discuss how to become involved in helping us meet our membership goals.
Thank you. I am the chairperson for the Liaison Committee. Liaisons are SEMA's best ambassadors. The membership and liaison committees meet on the first Friday of the month from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We're looking for folks to do outreach in specific office and groups. If you are interested in doing this, let us know and we will get you a list of members in your work area. We will provide the material and the application packet, taking points at
Laura, you hit your mute button by mistake. Sorry.
Didn't touch my computer. Sorry. Yeah, liaisons are always needed and I would be the contact person. And if there is anybody here today that is a liaison and needs any information, maybe the application packet, please do reach out to me at my email. And I believe my email is, yes, right here. And also we have some swag that we're able to send out to liaisons and I have been known to deliver to your site. So just reach out to us. Now over to Carla.
Let's see, thank you. So our Political Action Committee, it's actually focused on Santa Clara County. We meet the third Monday of each month via Zoom during lunch from 12 to 1. Next meeting will be this coming Monday. Monterey County will soon have its own PAC, so contact Sandra if you want to be part of that. But right now we're preparing for the D2, D3, and D5 supervisorial election in 24, and we're looking for new ways to expand and improve the civic engagement of SEMA members. In fact, not only do we want to support and win elections of labor-friendly candidates, we also want our SEMA members to consider applying for boards and commissions or even running for office too. So join PAC if you have any interest in local politics and want to see your colleagues outside the workplace as we strengthen relationships with decision makers who shape our workplace. Next up is Lawrence Michael to share more about the Professional Development Committee. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Carla. It is my great honor and pleasure to chair the Professional Development Committee. As our name implies, our primary mission is to encourage professional development and career advancement for SEMA represented employees through seminars, workshops, and other events. We meet every third Friday at lunch via Zoom. Now, with the continued effects of this global pandemic, we were still able to provide our members with quality presentations while ensuring the safety of our members. We started 2022 with a bang with our spring event, Coffee with Dr. Smith, a State of the County address specifically for SEMA members. In the summer, we were honored to present Collective Trauma and Resiliency with our keynote speaker, Terry L. Cross, an enrolled member of the Seneca Nation, as well as founding executive director of National Indian Child Welfare Association, also known as NICWA. In September, we hosted a roundtable with Supervisor Ellenberg. In November, we presented 2 virtual events, Boost Your Team's Engagement webinar, as well as the CalPERS informational session. As a reminder, for those who missed any of these, you can head over to our YouTube channel to watch these recorded events. Now, we are very excited to announce our first post-pandemic in-person event will be called What's the Tea with Jeff, James, and Greta. This will be an afternoon tea along with other light refreshments and snacks to meet the incoming county CEO, James R. Williams, our COO, Greta Hansen, and say so long to our outgoing CEO, Dr. Jeffrey V. Smith. Now watch out for details coming soon. We have some other exciting events lined up for this year that we can't wait to share with you, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for those upcoming events. Now, if you have any ideas or suggestions, we'd love to hear it. So please feel free to contact me, our other board members, or any of our SEMA OE3 agents. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued participation. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Donna and Robin to share more about our much-loved Scholarship Committee.
Woohoo, money, money, money. Robin Rivas Romano and I are proud to be your co-chairs for the 2023 Scholarship Committee. Last year, we received over 30 scholarship applications and awarded over $29,000 to 18 amazing children of our SEMA members. Robin and I know the importance of this committee and are passionate about the work involved, as our children are previous scholarship awardees. While the committee has approved and posted the 2023 program, we would still love to have you join us. Time commitments are minimal, only 3 to 5 meetings over 2 months to evaluate scholarship applications and select awardees. If you would like to join us and help award money to some amazing young people who may make you question your own contributions, please email us at scholarship@sccema.org. We would love to have you on our team. And now over to Jim and Robin for the retiree chapter.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this annual SEMA membership meeting. As many of you are aware, SEMA is organizing a retiree chapter. This chapter will be able to contribute ideas and/or suggestions to the SEMA board as to the needs of retirees. That would include medical benefits, financial planning, among other things. These ideas are really going to help during our upcoming contract negotiations. We recently sent out a survey asking how many members are retiring within the next 10 years. Luckily for SEMA, there's not a lot, but thank you to the over 300 people that did respond to this survey. This committee meets every third Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. via Teams. If you're interested, please join us, and our information is on the SEMA website. Now I'll hand it off to Zeb.
Thank you, Robin. So I suppose it's an honor, but I get to introduce to you what the SEMA Champion Award is. So we have several SEMA champions to recognize this year. And the SEMA Champion is a rare and prestigious award that's given to union members who through their actions have made the workplace better for all SEMA members. A SEMA champion has a scholarship that's designated in their honor that year, and they're recognized in the executive board minutes. They also receive a plaque of recognition. I realize the photo you're seeing right now is a novelty size check and not a plaque, but I assure you they receive a plaque, and you'll see that in other photos. I have the honor of introducing you all to our first SEMA champion, Sarah Schofield from the Superior Court of Santa Clara County. So Sarah fought the Superior Court, who demoted her for crossing a powerful judge who sits on the bench, of course. She won reinstatement to her old position after 5 long years of fighting with both her own legal counsel, OE3 legal counsel, and SEMA representation as well. Our OE3 legal reps helped out a lot and achieved a judgment for the court of approximately $30,000 as reflected in that check you see there. Sarah also went on with her own workers' compensation settlement for over $700,000. Sarah did a great job because she created a safe space for SEMA members to stand up against court administration. And whenever she saw injustice or workers being treated poorly, she fought back. Sarah is also really remarkable because she has been very generous with her hard-fought wins. She shared her successes by giving back to the SEMA Scholarship, donating $10,000 last year, and to the OE3 Scholarship Fund this year by donating an additional $5,000. You know what? I apologize. I got those reversed. Last year, she donated $10,000 to OE3. This year, she donated $5,000 to SEMA, both to the scholarship funds. So please join me in congratulating our member, Sarah Schofield, on her many victories for herself, her workplace, and our union. Thank you so much, Sarah. And now I'll turn it over to Adam for our next SEMA champion.
Thanks, Zeb. Second SEMA champion is Karen Roberts. Karen's a fantastic example of the hard work of one member, paying out huge dividends to almost 100 of her SEMA peers around the county. Karen identified about 4 years ago that herself and many other associate management analysts were working above and beyond the associate management analyst title. It's described as a training level position, and folks who'd been in the position for more than a couple of years were obviously no longer doing a training level. Karen submitted and pushed through a classification study before our current language that took 3 to 4 years to complete. The final result of that classification study, though, was a transformation of the Associate Management Analyst Code, which converted every single AMA code in the county to alternately staffed AMA/management analyst. This means that all those associate management analysts are able to promote by putting in promotional rating paperwork and see a substantial increase on their take-home pay. Karen persevered through what often feels like a Sisyphean effort to struggle against long delays in county bureaucracy. But her hard work paid off, not just for herself, but for generations of SEMA members to come in what's one of the most common codes throughout the county. Let me hand it off to Lawrence for our last SEMA champion.
Hi, folks. For 2022, we have 2 SEMA champions. One is Aisha Wahab, and the other is Sandra Ontiveros. Beginning with Aisha Wahab, she has been named SEMA champion for winning a highly competitive and arduous campaign for state senate, and already authoring and voting for labor-friendly bills and having an open door for SEMA whenever we want to have her support us in our interests. Some of the bills that she's already authoring and pushing forward is SB 399, the California Worker Freedom from Employer Intimidation Act, and SB 574, the Public Agencies bill that's about project labor agreements. As folks may know, SEMA is affiliated with Operating Engineers Local 3, and something like SB 574 is immensely helpful, as that would permit state agencies to undertake major state construction projects only if the project is governed by a project labor agreement, which is, generally speaking, in layman's terms, a very helpful labor-friendly tool that governments and contractors can use to actually get labor union-backed work together. So with Aisha Wahab, who is a SEMA member in TSS, now a state senator in Sacramento, she is truly a SEMA champion that we can count on. I'll pass it on to Jonathan.
Thank you again, Lawrence. I'm happy to present Sandra as the 2022 SEMA champion. Under her leadership as the president of Monterey's Management Council, the ex-unit members of Monterey came together and organized under SEMA's umbrella. She then continued to advocate for her colleagues by volunteering her time and expertise on Monterey's first negotiations team, always ensuring her colleagues' key interests were heard and recognized by the county as we crafted the foundational agreement. Undoubtedly, in recognition of Sandra's contribution, her peers elected her to serve as the chair of the Monterey County Advisory Council and to represent Monterey County on SEMA's executive board, where she works alongside all of our executive board members to progress SEMA's interests across all units. Thank you, Sandra, for all you've done and all you continue to do. And now I'll turn it to Dolores.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, and congratulations to all of our champions. We are very proud of you. I want to talk to you a little bit about our 2023 board priorities. So first is our number one priority is to serve our membership, to serve you, to make sure that we're doing right, protecting your rights, and looking to make sure that our agreements are enforced. Another priority, obviously, is to negotiate a strong contract, and we have one coming up. So in order to do that, we have to make sure that we have, or the goal is to have an 80% membership. It is very important when we enter the negotiation room that the county knows that our membership is with us, that we are authorized to negotiate on their behalf, and whatever action is taken as a result of whatever happens at the table, that we have our members that will support us in being able to secure a strong contract. We also have a couple of different things that are going to be important for our union, and that is to conduct a SEMA executive board elections, which includes many of the people that you see here speaking today. The leadership of SEMA is really important. So as you saw, many of our board members are leaders. They have very specialized skill sets, and unfortunately, many of them will be retiring. So we want to make sure that as we move forward, we have strong leadership representing our members for the county and the other jurisdictions that we represent. The other thing that is really important for us is to make sure that we create SEMA policies and a procedures manual as people transition. And as we have new board members, it is really important to make sure that every single person that is on the SEMA board is able to speak on behalf of the organization and to represent your interest. So we need to make sure that all of our board are properly trained, that they have the necessary skills to make sure that we're moving forward together. I'm going to pass it on to Seb.
Thank you so much, Dolores. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about briefly are some of the representational priorities and staff priorities that we have. Of course, the priorities that we do have are responsive not only to what we're hearing from the membership, but also to what the priorities of the board are and some of their instructions and requests of the business agents and reps. So first and foremost, 2024 and the end of 2023, and as we plan for 2024, contract negotiations is on the top of our mind and the top of our priorities. And that's because all of our units are having contract negotiations come up this year or very nearly, right? That they'll be shortly out of contract at the end of this year. So we're looking for Santa Clara, Monterey, and the Superior Court, all three of which will be looking at rapidly expiring contracts. So the timing is critical for us from a staff perspective because we need to be able to set up calendars so we can train the membership in not only how to participate in a field campaign, but how to be negotiators, how to understand what negotiation is. And also, of course, that we need your feedback. You know that we have a survey closing tomorrow for the County of Santa Clara, and we will have other surveys for other units as their contracts blink open. So negotiations and bargaining is going to be a huge priority shot throughout the organization, from the business reps to the board. And you see that reflected in our conversations with electeds, as well as, you know, with site meetings, how we've been keeping you up to date on possible limited reopeners, or if not, simply rolling the contract over. We also want to be focusing on data collection and performance tracking. So this is an initiative that the board has identified, but it's also something that we need to do as well, and that we found helpful in identifying trends in the membership. So for example, in the recent past, right, just the pandemic hit, we knew that all of a sudden there was a huge increase in questions about what are DSWs, disaster service worker rights? When can I be assigned to a role and not? If I'm assigned something as an part of emergency powers or authorizations, how permanent can that be? We also had immediate questions about masking, inoculations, social distancing, sanitation at the workplace, things that we had never experienced or had to deal with before as a union, and rapidly responded. Also, telework. While SEMA was the first in Santa Clara County to negotiate telework and in the Superior Court of Santa Clara, it's something that we were a pioneer in, but then we saw as we never did before with the arrival of COVID. And so then how are we administering that, and how are we making sure that telework remains relevant to our folks and that it's not just an afterthought of the modern workplace? Something else that we're identifying as a trend in membership, and as the website that was mentioned earlier, we can continue to use this, is childcare is increasingly important to many of our members, especially as we've seen the demographics of SEMA change. If you wind the clock back to 2 contract cycles ago when SEMA was negotiating, just under half of our membership said they were 5 years or less away from retirement. Now those numbers are completely upside down, even more than completely upside down. More than half of our membership say they're 10 to 15 years away from retirement. So those folks retired out, attrited out, whatever word you want to use, and now our demographics are very different. So all of this data collection and tracking, not only how we're responding to you as agents, but also what your needs are, is going to become very critical and a priority in this coming year. The final item I want to highlight for you all, and by the way, just don't think that because I'm highlighting these 3 things, these are the only 3 things we're doing, right? There are plenty of other things that are happening, but these are some of the priorities. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. We're also bolstering our lobbying efforts, and this is throughout all of our units. The county supervisors for Monterey and Santa Clara, we're routinely meeting. In fact, we just finished a round of meetings with the supervisors in Santa Clara County, and over the last 2 weeks, we completed a round of meetings in Monterey County. Also, we're establishing relationships with the court executives. As those of you joining the court know, a couple of the key execs have left, and now some alternate people have been promoted or positions have been left vacant. So we're continuing that that relationship building as a component of our negotiation and just a daily strategy with the various units. Also, we know that the relationship with executives, and that means labor management meetings, which I know is new to Monterey, but is part and parcel of membership in both the court and county of Santa Clara, is that labor management meetings are so important for ongoing membership advocacy, because that's where you can solve small problems before they ever have to get escalated to the supervisors. So that relationship building is something that I think we've done well historically, but there's always room for improvement, and we want to build it more with our elected friends. Well, thank you. I'm going to pass it on now to Lawrence Michael.
Thank you, Zeb. After 3 years of living through the new normal of this unprecedented global pandemic, you continue to showcase your resilience with your professionalism, perseverance, and dedication. We continue to support our counties, our residents, whether we are at the courts or at the hospitals or the myriad departments of Santa Clara County and Monterey County. And through it all, we continue to provide world-class level, essential and exceptional service. SEMA, the executive board, and the SEMA OE3 staff are dedicated to providing you those same levels of service, pandemic notwithstanding. We'll continue to represent our members, continue services and benefits, and continue to disseminate vital information to our members. We celebrate our accomplishments from 2022, like the foundational contract for Monterey County, strong inflation adjustment in our contract reopener for Santa Clara County Superior Court, increase in membership, continued strong relationship with Santa Clara County and Monterey County Board of Supervisors, continued classification study successes, multitude of SEMA events, labor-friendly political gains in County Supervisor Sylvia Arenas and California State Senator and former SEMA member Aisha Wahab. We have a brand new website, brand new SEMA OE3 office space, And we look forward eagerly to all the accomplishments that 2023 will bring. Through all of this, we continue to grow a strong, dedicated executive team and amazing OE3 staff. But we couldn't do any of this without your support, without your visibility. So make sure to keep showing off that SEMA attire and swag. I've got my pin, especially as we gear up for new contract negotiations next year. Now, we ask that you stay connected with SEMA by doing any or all of the following. Attend one of our site meetings each month. We currently hold them virtually via Zoom, and we dedicate several meetings to locations we used to visit pre-pandemic, namely Combined Site, which included 70 West, SSA at 333 West Julian, VMC Campus, VHP, TSS at Tasman, and just recently Behavioral Health and Monterey County. Now, please note that all members are welcome to any of the site meetings, no matter your location. Please check us out on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter, #SemaProud. Sign up on our members portal at www.scsema.org. And you can always email us at help@scsema.org. As always, we all continue to care for others. We want to emphasize how important it is to practice self-care since so many people count on us. Please check out these well-being resources we have on the screen for you. And a big thank you to our very own Teresa Chagoya from the Employee Wellness Department for providing these. As always, we encourage you to stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay strong. We encourage you to keep engaged and to keep united. As you continue to do so, and as you have always done, keep SEMA proud. On behalf of the Executive Board and the OE3 SEMA staff, I thank you. Now, we still have a few minutes left for questions. Let's go to Donna to see if there are any questions in the chat. Donna?
You're muted, Donna.
Myself. I meant to do that too. I had a little,
Okay, Jim Jr.
I had a sticky on my screen and just didn't pay attention to it. All right, so we're going to start with Gina that said, can someone please explain on-call pay?
Yeah, so on-call pay is a negotiated benefit in SEMA's contract. It's in there under 24-hour or pay for 24-hour duties. On-call pay is a section you'll want to look at. And it doesn't apply to every SEMA position, but it applies to a lot of SEMA positions. The ones it does not apply to will be those that have 24-hour responsibilities for their unit built into their job description. So for example, we could look at SEMA on-call, pick on Leonid. Leonid runs the renal center at the county. The first line of his job description says responsibility for a 24-hour unit. So then the presumption is built into the pay. If that's not your position, then you do qualify for on-call pay. If your department and if your work requires you to be available 24/7 for work. And that can be submitted through an application, which I think you find on LED's intranet page. It's still there. And you submit that through your department. If you have any trouble with the application or approval process and you think it should apply to you and you're getting an answer that it doesn't, you can reach out to your rep.
Thank you, Adam. Gabrielle asks, is the longevity pay a one-time deal or ongoing? Can you please explain?
I can answer that.
Longevity.
It's complicated because each longevity style agreement is unique. If the question is specifically about how it's administered in Monterey, then the answer is it's continuous and ongoing. So as long as you meet the criteria in Monterey, it's 10, 15, or 20 years of service, you get the appropriate PERSable, meaning it builds your pension, level of benefit that is added to your base wage. And it's a percentage. It's 2.5%, 3.5%, and 5.5% respectively. So that's how we opted to negotiate, and we're successful at negotiating it in Monterey. Longevity pay is reflected differently throughout different contracts. Sometimes it's expressed as a separate step. Sometimes it's expressed as a one-time payment. Sometimes it's even expressed in the form of a sabbatical. So it really varies on the basis of employer, but how it's administered in Monterey is how I described.
All right, thank you.
Donna, if I could,
oh.
whenever you get a chance, I'd like to introduce the ad hoc election committee, which we didn't have a chance to, but I can wait.
Okay, I will actually get to that, where I think we have 2 questions and then we'll go right on there. So Gina asked, when you say expedited classification study, how long is that? I heard they take at least 1 to 2 years. That's now because of our new contract language. So what is the new length of time to hear back?
Yeah, so the contract language defines a 1-year deadline from the point it's assigned to an analyst. That'll still usually be 1.5 years when the application is first completed. So that's the contractual deadline. They do sometimes go longer and sometimes substantially longer than that if we don't get a response back that we want. So if we get a response back on the class study that we disagree with, for example, we think there's a compaction issue or we're out of market step and HR is disagreeing, and we think we have a strong case to make that they got that analysis wrong, we meet and confer, we meet with executives and try and get that decision changed. And there's no deadline for that part of the process. This last go around, we had a little over 2/3 were completed by the deadline, which meant we got responses back that we could concur with immediately. The other third are taking longer. This is still about a 2-fold improvement from where things were prior, where we actually still have some classification studies that are outstanding before this language was even in place that were old when the language came in place. So, you know, there are examples of class studies that take 3, 4, 5 years. One of our board members here, Donna, last year had a successful class study that probably took 4 years till it finished. Does that sound right, Donna?
Yep.
Yeah. So the deadline's an improvement. It's still not great. And folks that have been here, 10 years, and remember previous HR leadership, it used to be the case that we could expect these to turn around, within 6 months. And that's just a capability that HR has lost or just a deadline they're not interested in meeting internally. So that's the timeline.
Thank you. I would just like to make note, we want to value your time. We understand the meeting is over at 1. If you can stay as we answer these questions, that's great. If not, we will be recording until we get to a certain point. And if we can't answer them, we'll respond via email. The next question is Philip Decker. Are the inflationary numbers different in Monterey than here in Santa Clara? The 3.5 in 2023 and 2.5 in 2024 pay raises are non-starters here in Santa Clara. Not sure if there were trade-offs versus other benefits versus pay increases that Monterey considered.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jonathan may have something else or additional, Jonathan or Sandra. We're extremely proud of the contract that we have in Monterey. It's a very different environment down there with different union density and different financial resources, let's call it, of the employer. Also, it's a different cost of living. I mean, it's still high, right? It's California, but it's different from the Bay Area. So if you look at other unions and what they got, you were talking about anywhere from 2 to 3% for a 2 to 3 year contract. So we were very pleased with the 3.5%. And also we were able to capture some longevity pay as well as claw back some of the healthcare items and holiday pay that the employer had removed. So those were some big priorities for us to get back. And then also have benefits that we had never seen before, like the on-call pay and the longevity pay, which added those additional pay premiums that we just have never experienced. And in fact, we haven't experienced in Santa Clara County. Jonathan and Sandra, if I remember correctly, didn't the longevity pay impact something like 54% of the unit? Does that sound right? 55? I don't know quite what it was.
That's the number, 55.
55%. So also something else for anyone that's listening from Santa Clara County to hear that. So think about that. If more than half of the unit is minimally getting a 2.5% increase on top of the 3.5% increase, that's a handsome incentive for people that have been around for a little bit, 10 years or longer. You could receive up to 5.5%. So yeah, just different area, different employer, different circumstances, but I hear you loud and clear. Philip, and for folks that are in Santa Clara County, it's a different set of economics and a different set of cost of living. So we're keenly aware of that.
Okay, I'm going to do a little bit out of order so we can get before people start jumping off. Mike Fong actually reached out regarding our election committee. Zeb, would you like to address that?
Yes, and also because we're right at 1, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who's taken time. Don't take this as a cue to leave, but I know we're approaching 1. Is that I don't know what the number is now. The last time I looked, we had something like 280 people on. That's really wonderful. I was really happy to see that. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to hear this update. It really means a lot to me and to the board that put this presentation together. So yes, I do want to introduce the election committee. It was not part of our presentation. It is an ad hoc committee, right? So that means that this committee is assembled when needed, when we have an election to conduct. We know that this e-board will be up for election in the coming year. And so that's why the election committee was assembled and will conduct the election and then disband as it historically has. This year, we're really lucky as SEMA members. Just so you know, Mike Fong is the chair of the election committee, and he joins us from the Registrar of Voters office in Santa Clara County and is the holder of several prestigious election training awards and certificates that are rare in the country and highly recognized. Same holds for Bren Lair, who is also a member, SEMA member from Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters office, who is also joining us on that election committee. And these are folks who conduct, county elections on behalf of the voters, state, federal government, as well as joint power authorities and cities and so on. So we're really getting their expertise, which is very helpful. And then we're also on this election committee is Jim Piazza, who, as you may have recall, is your treasurer. The reason that he's able to be on the committee is because he is outgoing and will not be serving again on the board. So that's why he's eligible to serve on the election committee. For sanity reasons, the bylaws prevent seated or those seeking election to the board from administering the election themselves, which I hope doesn't require any additional explanation. But thank you for that opportunity, Donna.
All right, thank you. Yes, there are many of us that are vacating. So if you have questions, I want to know how to get involved or have questions on how much fun being on the board is, let any of us know. Tim asks, is there any plans to negotiate management having a better pension, higher percentage with no max?
I would say no. Maybe,
yes.
maybe Adam, you have something to say to that? Yeah.
So what we're able to negotiate right now would be a lower cost. Folks need to keep in mind that the county participates in CalPERS but doesn't administer CalPERS. So in the past, there were opportunities to bargain benefit enhancements, but those rely upon whatever the structure is with CalPERS at the time. So what we can do is bargain down the amount that we contribute to CalPERS, which can go down another few percent until we hit the legal minimum. Separate from that, county retiree health is bargainable because that is administered by the county here. So as far as the pension, there's not an enhancement to benefits that we'd be able to bargain right now. We could lower the cost for the existing benefits that could be on the table in retiree health care, which is OPEB, other post-employment benefits. That's something that could be bargained.
All right, and then we have a lot of kudos for Sarah Schofield and for Karen Roberts, who we all appreciate so much and recognized last year with our scholarship awards. Thank you to Zeb and SEMA for standing up for courts' illegal practices and speaking truth to power. And thank you to Aisha. Lots of thank yous, which are great. Let's see. I'm looking here. Robert Vanderslice, why do I get paper invoices from OE3 showing my dues were paid last month?
Do you want to answer that, Adam, or you want me to?
Yeah, sure. So the significant majority of folks in OE3 are on the private sector side. And so for example, myself, Zeb, Lawrence, Robert, we all pay dues this way, where you pay quarterly. So you log in through an app or you show up in an office and you pay dues. That is not the structure for public employees. Unfortunately, the back-end system for OE3 gets confused about a couple specific scenarios. Usually it's when you have a leave without pay for a period. Sometimes that'll spit out, it thinks they're owed a bill, and that those get sent to our members, and then members call us about it and we say, don't worry about it, just don't pay it. Thanks for letting us know. We've been hoping to get that specific type of scenario fixed for a while, but it's been in place since I've been here the last 4 years, though it happens less frequently than it used to. Usually they're getting caught. But so those kind of hiccups sometimes come up. If you ever get anything in the mail about dues from OE3, it does not apply to you. And apologies that you're getting that mail.
Thank you. Laura asks, if you are meeting with all of the executives, why haven't you met with the new sheriff yet? All other units have met with him. Did you review the information sharing agreement between the Office of the Sheriff and the Office of Law Enforcement Monitoring?
So this is in, I think, Lawrence, I think we have met with the sheriff at his swearing in ceremony. I don't know if we've had a labor management meeting. I'll leave that to Lawrence.
Yeah, something that we are still in the works of doing is having an actual tour with the sheriff. You know, folks always have these one-on-one meetings with leadership. We're trying to do something a little bit different in terms of having Sheriff Johnson to actually meet with our members across the county, put a face to the issues, and actually using those opportunities to discuss our issues too. When it comes to these agreements, we do get notices from labor relations to look at these to see if we might have any questions and possibly meet and confer on that language. Something we haven't gotten responses on. If we don't have any issues with it, we just move forward with that agreement.
Thank you, Laura. We're also going to be meeting with the new sheriff, Sheriff Johnson, and also new supervisor Sylvia Arenas. We'll be scheduling tours with the different facilities, so we will probably contact our members in the various departments as we're doing the tour so that you can talk about your primary issues with Supervisor Arenas, and then more Justice Department specifics for Sheriff Johnson. And working for the Probation Department, yes, very familiar with that, long history. Happy to talk to you about it.
All right. Dow asks, I am a relatively new SEMA employee. I'm curious about how we are hourly employees, but unable to accrue overtime. We are required to submit specific work schedules, which does not indicate a salary type of code situation. I'm guessing we might need some more information on this.
Yeah, so based on that, SEMA is a mixed unit in many senses. We represent individual contributors as well as supervisors. I realize that's not your question. Your question is, how am I unable to accrue overtime? So we have two categories of overtime folks. We have what's called FLSA, Fair Labor Standards Act, exempt. Most people just refer to this as salaried. Then we have FLSA applicable. Most people refer to that as hourly employees. We represent both, but we have very few hourly codes that we represent, maybe a dozen. So if in fact, Dow, you are in one of those dozen codes that are hourly, you absolutely accrue overtime. And we do accrue overtime as SEMA individuals. So just earlier this week, I was helping someone who's a management aide who was accruing overtime and was being paid overtime. And we do get that overtime payment. So perhaps something incorrect is happening. You can private message any of us or just give additional information in chat and we'll help you out. If you're an hourly employee and you're not being paid overtime properly, that's a significant issue. If you're a salaried employee, then no, you do not get overtime. So hopefully that clarifies it with regards to your question.
There's a follow-up here. How do you find out what codes are hourly or salaried? The easiest place is probably on your paycheck. It will say exempt or non-exempt. Now that non-exempt is a double negative, so it means not exempt from overtime, which means you do qualify for overtime. So non-exempt is overtime qualified, exempt is you're exempt from overtime. So that's where it'll say it. If your code is exempt from overtime, we generally expect that your time's not being tracked with a punch in, punch out. Almost all SEMA employees in the county, SEMA members, just punch in once on Kronos to indicate that they're there that day, and they're not required to log in and out time. So if you are being tracked with an arrival and a departure time, there might be some specifics to look at with your rep there, depending on where you are. There are areas that are required to track it, locked facilities, for example. So there's exceptions here and there, but reach out to your rep.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, you have rep services if you are a dues paying member of SEMA. So if any of you are joining and haven't signed up to be a SEMA member, please reach out to Mary Beth or Laura or any of the reps, and we can get you a membership form to sign up. Linda, I heard stories that the county had done a sort of reclass of management analyst position to be able to roll into a senior management classification, similar to the associate management analyst to a management analyst code. Any truth to that?
No, so where likely folks got confused, there were a lot of positions that were created that as a result of this that are now alternately staffed AMA, MA, senior MA. But if you were just a standalone MA when that study went through, it didn't automatically make you senior MA. So you have a lot of positions that alternately staff the whole way up as a result of the study. But there wasn't some across the board, all MAs are now MA/senior MA. I would also say that's trying to make that happen wouldn't have the same kind of strong argument we had for all AMAs to be AMA/journey level MA.
Tim Petronari asked, will the SEMA board members be at the picnic this weekend? Number one, Tim, thank you for bringing that up. Number two, of course we will, because just so you know, our SEMA board has been diligently getting great baskets for raffle prizes there, and we are definitely a part of and love to be part with our brothers and sisters with OE3. We don't get a lot of time to actually spend time with our brothers and sisters from that unit, and it's a great time for us to get together. We haven't done it since the pandemic, and I am looking forward to seeing everyone, handing out raffle tickets, checking people in, and I hope to see you all there. Let's see here. I have a specific message for you, Zeb, to give Andre Tessier a call. Oh, you already booked it. And then Tim is asking, will tickets be available at the event, or do we still need to come to the office to get them?
I believe the talk we had this morning is that there'll be someone from SEMA at the check-in desk at the front with tickets available for SEMA folks, so you can just show up.
They are limited. Yes, that would be Dolores, and they are limited on a first come, first serve. So if we hand them all out, we will have to discuss. I really do hope to see you there. Our presence does show the people at OE3 that SEMA is a significant part of the success of OE3. So it's great to see our members out there. And that is the last of our questions.
Cool. Well, thank you folks for joining. And hope to see you all at the picnic this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. For those of you that haven't met the OE3 guys before, all the trades folks, they're always a lot of fun to hang out with. So
yep.
It'll be a good
Great,
time.
Great
Yes,
food.
they are.
Yes.
Too much fun, too much fun.
Great beer, great fun.
So wait, but then there's us.
And then
Well,
there's
yeah.
us.
We're a lot of
That's
fun.
the real attraction.
That's a good way to put it.
I'll say, Zeb.
Yeah, join us. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, everybody. I don't know, Dolores, if you had anything else to say other than thanks, but I'm happy everyone's here.
One, I just want to thank our business representatives who always do an amazing job. And of course, our SEMA Executive Board, our Monterey and Superior Court chapter. You have no idea how much time and dedication and how proud I am of all of them. They do an amazing job on your behalf. And thank you for coming and sharing this moment with us. Have a wonderful day.
And thank you, Dolores, because without this, your leadership, we would not be where we are today.
Here, 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 here.
And this video will be posted on our website.
Come on, Jim. Jim, leave that to me, please.
Bye, everybody.
SEMA board, make sure you are not hanging up.
Or not.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Donna, did you want the reps to stick around?
Yeah, I think last time we did just a little debriefing, and it's kind of nice to do it right after. I think we had we have 15 minutes just to see how everything went, make sure we have all our numbers in, but you can stop recording.
Yeah.